Okay, this is the empty bowls glazing video. So you need your bowl, obviously. Paper towel, you're gonna need a couple of these big glaze brushes. Just rinse them before you start. You're gonna need a little sponge and you're gonna need the glaze. So for the empty bowls, you wanna get the very black glaze and make sure the top is tight and then shake it really well. Okay, so the first step for this is to glaze the part that's textured with 2 coats of the very black. So you just do like 2 thin coats, not super complicated. So I'm just going to brush this on. So you have to be really kind of neat near the edge, so go slowly. Right at the edge up there, so you can put the color, like the other color that we're going to do on the inside, on that very edge. So I'm just going to glaze even right over my name and everything. Don't worry about that. So keep going. Okay, so that's coat 1. Then I would let this dry and I'm going to put a second coat. So do the same thing, let it dry, put a second coat on the top. Okay. Alright, so once that second coat is dry, so here's one where I have 2 coats of the very black. You're going to take that sponge and you want to make sure you get it wet. And you're going to start to actually wipe off some of the glaze. I know this seems crazy, but you're going to wipe off the glaze, the high parts, and you're going to leave the glaze in the lower parts. So what that means is the dark black glaze will be down in all the recessed areas of the texture, and then the top part will have clear coat on it. So we're going to do that. So what you have to do is every once in a while you have to get up and go back to the sink and kind of rinse the sponge out. You could get a cup of water if you wanted to at your spot. But you see what's starting to happen? See how the top part of that, you can kind of really see that texture starting to show up. So I'm going to keep working on this and then I'll show you how to do the clear coat. Okay, so I'm done with that. I'm going to clean this edge off because I'm noticing a little bit of my glaze kind of ran down over this edge, so I'm going to wipe that off. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to put a clear coat on. So the clear glaze is in this really big gallon container. You see this big huge jug? Okay, so it says Pure Brilliance. It's brush on clear glaze. Okay, so what you want to do is shake it really well, and then pour yourself into a little cup, and it kind of looks like this scary green, like that bright color. So what you're going to do is same thing. You're going to take a clean paintbrush, make sure you wash it off at the sink, and then you're going to paint this on. And this is just clear, so it's just going to have like kind of a nice glossy finish. So same thing as before, you wanted to put 2 coats of this. So I'll put 1, and then I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll put a second. Okay, so that's coat 1, it's done. I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a second coat on. Now my other one, I'm going to show you how to glaze the inside. So to glaze the inside of the other piece, you need to choose which color glaze you want to use. So there's special glazes for the empty bowls projects. There's still the Duncan Envision glazes, but they say opaque gloss, which means it's like a really thick glaze. You can't see through the color. So the other ones that we have for our regular project are semi-translucent. These should say opaque gloss, and they're pretty bright colors. So this is going to be a neon red color that I chose. So you want to make sure that you shake this up really well, and you're going to do the same thing, 2 to 3 thin coats with a clean paintbrush. So I'm going to paint the inside here, and you will see some of the brush strokes, so you do want to be kind of neat as you apply this. Okay, so I've got my 1 coat done. You want to make sure that you're covering all the white of the clay, so go back and look at it. And now I'm going to put my second coat on. I could let this dry just for a minute longer, and then just put my second coat. You notice that I was really neat along when I was working on the edge. Anywhere where the glazes mix, you don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes it looks cool, sometimes it looks like you were just rushed and it was kind of messy. So you want 2 to 3 thin coats of this color, and then when you're done, you're going to let it dry, and you can put it on the cart so that I can fire them for you. All right, it's done. It's ready to go onto the cart. Show me your work along the way. Can't wait to see what you do.